going on, everyone? Thank you again for tuning into another episode with Talk with Taylor. This topic I'm talking about today means a lot to me because it really has gotten me to where I am today, and it's really helped project my career path and everything that I've learned so far in the insurance industry. And this topic that I want to discuss today is networking with other people in your industry. I think a lot of people nowadays don't want to network with other people in their industry because they're competitors. They don't want to give away that secret sauce, right? And why would I talk to another agent and tell them what's working for me? Because that might help them and they're going to take away business. That's what a lot of people's mindset is nowadays. And I think it's wrong. I don't care what industry you're in. There's enough business to go around. And I think you're only going to grow and get better by being with other people in your industry that are doing maybe better than you or that are successful, and you can learn from them, or people that just have been in this industry longer and they're helping you with shortcuts that are like, hey, don't do this and do this. And it really just helps. And so that's what today's topic is about, because I feel very strongly about this because since I've been in the industry, that's what I've done. I have forced myself to surround myself with other insurance agents across the country. And I've gone to conferences and I've been doing all this stuff, and it's really helped me in my career and the knowledge I have in this industry. So let's get into it. Okay, so taking it back, I'm not going to do my whole story again, so don't worry about that. But taking it back, 2015, 2016, I was just starting out in the insurance industry. I had no idea what I was doing, and I felt very different than most other insurance agents because I was the creative type. I wasn't the cold-blooded killer, cold caller, and so on. And so I had to find my own ways to make things work. And what I found working was marketing and content and social media and getting people to call me, right? And I was one of the very few, because most insurance agents around either were based on or getting their business from referrals or cold calling or doing your traditional marketing, joining the Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, whatever it was. I was doing some of the community stuff, but I wasn't doing the cold calling as much as I should have, or I didn't have any people to give me referrals at the time. So I was like, I got to generate some business. I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to post on Instagram and Facebook and stuff and talk about insurance. And that's what I did. And that's where I got a lot of my business from. And then as I started to get accounts, then the referrals and stuff started coming in. But for the most part, I was getting most of my business from social media. So I felt really alone because everyone around in my local community, even the other insurance agents, weren't doing it. And it made me stand out, but I wanted to talk to other insurance people about this and talk about, do I have something here? Am I wasting my time? Am I not? Right? And I really kind of struggled with it in the very beginning. However, I ran into this website. It was called Agency Nation, and it was there's a Facebook page and a Instagram and everything else. And I ran into some few folks over at Agency Nation. You had Joey, Sid Rowe, and Ryan Hanley. And that was kind of my introduction to people in the industry that were younger, a little more modern, and were talking more of my language. And I was like, whoa, this is an eye-opener for me. And so as I dove deep into their content, deep into their stuff, and it really, really helped affirm me that I was doing something right. And actually, I was probably ahead of the curve with a lot of things back in 2016 doing that. But at the time, I felt like I was the only one doing it, and I felt, should I not be doing this? Should I, So following Agency Nation, following their content, talking to them online, doing it all, surrounding myself with those agents and the other agents that kind of were following Agency Nation, I started to develop this group of agents that were like-minded, that were making content and were very successful at it, and it was really helping them grow. And we got to collaborate. And man, Taylor, you were doing this. This was really cool. How'd you do that? And then I would ask them, hey, dude, here's how you did that, but how did you do this, right? And we would just talk and we would connect every day. And it was so amazing for the beginning parts of my career, because I was, again, thinking like not a lot of agents in my town. A lot of the agents were just your traditional old agency. And we were that traditional old agency, but I wasn't. And so I was kind of changing things and kind of rocking the boat a little bit, because I was this tattooed kid coming in with insurance, trying to make insurance cool, right? And so Ryan Hanley and all them at Agency Nation at the time were very, very a big part of where I started and where I am now, why I am here now and where I'm at, right? Oh gosh, that was a tongue twister. Sorry. But yeah, so that was like the introduction to introducing myself into other insurance agents, right? Networking and talking to other agents to grow my knowledge in the industry. And then I went to a conference and it was amazing. And it was in New Orleans and I got to meet a lot of the people and it was such a great conference and I enjoyed every minute of it because I was now surrounded with a lot of these people that I've talked to online forever and we got to just really connect and it was really, really cool. So that was back 2016, 17, and 18, right? I got to start the feeling of networking with other insurance agents and I was really kind of coming up with a lot of stuff that our agency had never heard of or seen. I was coming back with ideas and concepts that I was throwing at our agency all the time because I'm like, guys, we're doing this way wrong. Look at all these people doing it this way. But yeah, so even then, there was like this weird lull period for the last couple of years that I was just kind of feeling like on my own. Agency Nation kind of fizzled out. Ryan and all of them started to go their own ways. And I was just kind of doing my own thing, right? I had the content going. I had those social media marketing, the YouTube and all that. I was growing that. I was trying to anyway. And I was just doing your average selling, right? And then I started to get back into the traditional ways of cold calling and doing things like that. But when I was throughout those years, say like 2019 to 2021, again, I had kids, so I was just kind of in this zone, and I did very well, but it was challenging. Now, bring it up to speed now. 2022, I think it was. I was asked to be on a podcast called the Scratch Agency Podcast, and even though I wasn't a Scratch agent, I felt really honored to go on there because these two guys liked my content, and they were like, "Hey, we would love to have you on to talk about how you do your videos and content, etc." And I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. And I met these two guys, Sean Fitzgerald and Steven Turnbull. And it was like an immediate dude, these guys are cool. And I want to be their friends. They're both in New York and I'm in California. We're literally across the country, but they're cool guys. And so since then I did their podcast episode number 5, I think it was, because we just talked about it today. And it was so cool. We had such great experiences. So we would talk after the podcast. We just started talking. We were texting in group texts. We're going over stuff. Hey, how did you do this? How'd you do that? Whoa, you're doing this. That's awesome. Right. And we're having those kind of conversations again. And it was really kind of pumping me back up to be like, yes, there's some people that are motivating me to be better. And I'm kind of helping them motivate them to be better in different areas. Right. And we just developed this friendship. And to this day, it's literally, you should see our group chat. It's always going, and they're East Coast, so they're text messaging in the group text, and for me it's like 2:00 in the morning, and it's like for them they're getting up early, right? And so I wake up to a bunch of stuff, and it's usually, hey, I'm trying this and this. Hey, I have an interview for this. Hey, have you tried this training? Have you tried this? What about this for a VA? It's constantly, we're pushing each other to be the best versions we can possibly be. And I will say, since our friendships, so since I started to become friends with them, it has pushed me to heights I've never even could imagine. Steven and I have had some really intimate conversations about his family and my family and working with the family agency, because he was in a similar situation prior to where he's at now. And so him and I have had some long talks. He's making pancakes at 11:00 at night and I'm venting to him, right? And so he was really there for me during some hard times and kind of helped push me in a way to get into a better place. And same with Sean. Sean was pushing me in other areas of training guides and, hey, what about this? Are you trying this? What about these buy-sell agreements or whatever it was we were talking about, right? Producers, etc. And so since I've been friends with them, they have pushed me to be such a better person than I've than I was prior. I'm in much a better place now. I have a lot more knowledge now and a lot more confidence now just from being friends with them. And so where I'm going with this is, I'm not trying to praise Steven and Sean, even though they're really cool guys. Follow the Scratch Agency podcast if you don't. They're really cool. Follow their personal stuff too. They have good stuff. They're such good dudes. And but where I'm going with all of this is networking with people in your same industry. You don't have to look at them as competitors. Okay, yes, Sean and Steven are across the country. You can say they're not your competitors. They're in New York. You're in California. You don't want, I'm talking about the agent that maybe works 3 doors down from you, right? Or down the street. I have friends of those too. I have friends with the Farmers guys, State Farm guys, the other independent agents in town. I'm friends with all of them. There's enough business to go around. I can't write everything, and I'm not gonna write everything, right? So why don't we help each other out and learn from each other? Because we're in a crazy industry that's always changing, and the technologies are kind of wonky at times, and why not work with each other to make things better, and then to hear their experiences with certain technology so I can then maybe try it after hearing about somebody else's experience, right? Versus me trying it and then it failing and wasting all this money. Maybe I could take a shortcut and hear somebody else's experience. Now, again, you take that with a grain of salt because every agency is completely different. Like you talk to me, you look at our agency, Sean's agency, and Steven's agency, we all do things very differently. But at the same time, our core principles are very similar. Our core values are very similar. We're always kind of pushing each other to be better, whether it's content, whether it's training, whether it's sales, whether it's building out our niche pages. Like Sean and I are building out these niche pages and we're going way deep with these, and it's really, really exciting. And he's the one keeping me motivated to keep pushing this because he's always reaching out. Hey, how's that going? Hey, we do a weekly call about it. We talk about our niches. And so those kind of things keep me motivated, and it really keeps me pumped up. And so whatever industry you're in, and I'm assuming I'm talking to more insurance people here than not, but if I'm not, whatever industry you're in, find peers in the same industry. It may feel weird. Join a community group on Facebook, follow your local podcasts, go to a conference and meet other electricians, meet other real estate agents, meet other mortgage lenders, whatever industry you're in, meet other people in your industry, because I promise you, they're going to motivate you to be better. They're going to push you to be better, and they're going to have probably ideas you've never thought about. And that's how I've gotten to be where I am today, is purely because I've I forced myself around other insurance agents, and I've learned from them. I'm going to conferences. I listen to these podcasts. I am constantly learning about the industry. And some of these insurance guys that I listen to are way smarter than me, way more successful than me. So why wouldn't I listen to them and learn from them? They have a lot more knowledge than I have at the moment. And one day, maybe I'll be up there and somebody younger is going to be listening to me. Who knows? That would be really cool, right? You're listening to me now, maybe. I don't know. Mom, are you listening? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I think that really surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, and maybe not even in your industry, right? But even in general, whether it's in your industry or not, surround yourself with smarter people. I always try to tell my wife, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And I think that's very common to say nowadays, but I don't want to be. I want to always be learning from the people around me. And that's what keeps me driven and motivated, because if I'm the only one driven and motivated around, say, my circle of friends, I feel the odd man out. And then I start to kind of be like, well, I'll be a little more relaxed. I'll be a little more this, right? No, find yourself some really good driven people if that's what you're wanting. And if you want to succeed in your industry, like the insurance industry, surround yourself, go to these conferences, meet these people that are successful and talk to them. Ask them questions. Most of them are very friendly and they will share, experiences, struggles, and their successes and things. And that's what I've done. I just force it and I go, hey, my name's Taylor. I would love to talk to you about like who you use for accounting, because we struggle there, or whatever it is, right? And so, or hey, we're looking into doing some marketing within our AMS, our management system, and like, I don't know how to do that. Let me find some agents that work in our management system and see how they're using it, right? And I have a Monday morning mastermind call, and they're all East Coast for the most part. So it's, for them, it's like 8:00, but for me, it's 5 a.m. And I get up at 4:30 and I go to those meetings because I'm always learning something from somebody's talk in that group. Somebody's going to share something that they're doing well at, right? And it's just really cool. Like this week, for instance, so let me just give you an example. So I learned this week from this guy, Jeremy Powers, awesome agent, has a great agency, very, very inspiring. His thing was, hey, we're in a hard market. So he's trying to reward his team and pay based on maybe activities versus the actual closed business. Because right now, closed business is down. So to keep the morale up, let's try to pay some based on the amount of activity they're doing, because they're doing more work for less sales. So let's see if we can do that, right? So things like that I would have never thought of. I'm like, man, that's a really great idea. So with all that being said, whatever industry you're in, try to find a small group. It doesn't have to be a large group. Find a small group that you can talk to and share your struggles with, and just build friendships within the same industry you're in. And I promise you, it'll be very rewarding. At least I know it was for me for the most part. From when I started to now, it's only gotten better. But in the very beginning, it was very important for me to do, because I finally found people that were my age and similar minded. And you can do that too. And it really drives you, and it'll push you to be better, because you'll talk to these people regularly and you'll see all the stuff they're doing, and it'll just motivate you to do it. And so that mindset of they're my competitors, I'm not sharing, that's closed-minded, and you don't want that. You want to be able to help others, and it's karma. You help others, they will help you, right? And so you just need to do it. And in my experience, in this whole thing, you could take whatever I say with a grain of salt if you don't want to. All I'm sharing here is that's how I've gotten to where I am today, is from surrounding myself with other insurance agents like-minded, and they've helped me progress and have these hard conversations, or implement certain things that I didn't think I can implement. And some of these people are so generous, they'll just take their time and call me, and they'll chat with me for an hour about something and explain it. It's really cool. And I'll do the same. If somebody has a question for, hey, Taylor, how do you do this on your website? I'll break it down and I'll get on a call with them and I'll help them 1,000%, because I remember when I started, those people that took the time to talk to me really, really helped, and it meant a lot to me. I was very grateful for it. So that was today's topic, was just more, why I think we should be surrounding ourselves with more peers in our industry, and how that could really help us, because I think that too many people have that closed-minded feeling of, they're my competitors, I don't want to share with them. And I see that in our office with some of my sales guys. They don't want to talk to other agents because they think, well, why would I share what works? And I try to drill in their heads, like, that's closed-minded thinking. And I promise you'll learn more than whatever you give them, they're not going to use and steal all your clients. I assure you that. Again, there's plenty of business to go around. Why not develop some friendships within the industry and grow together? And so far, with my two buddies, Sean and Steven, that we're growing all together, it's been a blast, because we get to all look back and say, man, do you remember last year when we were here? Or man, and we get to grow together, and we're always throwing out ideas. We're always trying to start something new, and it's really exciting and rewarding. And, we're now talking about, well, we're just going to merge agencies. We're all going to become one. We joke with that, but it's just really cool to see. And to kind of wrap this up, so I'm going to start with all this being said. I'm going to this conference next week, IAOA, the Insurance Agency Owners Alliance. It's Innovation 23. I'm really excited for this. It's in Chicago. I used to go to a lot more conferences. I haven't been going as much just because I'm needed more here at the office, but I'm trying to get back into, again, networking with other agency owners, seeing what they're doing, learning from them. But I get to see my buddy Steven for the first time in person. We've been friends for like a year online and through FaceTime or Zoom or whatever, or phone calls, but I get to finally meet him, and I get to meet some other people that I know are going to be there that I've been talking to online. And those conversations are really cool because we feel like we know each other. So when we get together, it's like, whoa, man, this is awesome. And again, it develops friendships. And that's what I think bulk of my friendships live in other states and do insurance in other states. That's the bulk of my friends. So it's just really cool. It's really cool for me to see, and it's really cool for me to experience. And it's really helped me get to where I am today. And I know it's going to push me forward. It's going to push me forward a ton because as I grow and as I become an agency owner one day, and as I do that, I'm going to lean on some of these other more experienced agency owners and say, hey, how did you do this? How do you do that? How should I implement this? Should I not? What about pay structure here, there, right? So I know that going forward, I'm going to lean on them probably even heavier. But it's cool. And I know a lot of people can say that about me. They can come to me or they can ask me questions, and I'm all for it. Reach out to me. If you have questions on content or websites or graphic design or sales or building niche pages, whatever it is that maybe I have a little bit of knowledge or expertise in, I'm happy to share my experiences and how I've made it work. And that's why I love these podcasts, because it introduces you into new agents that maybe wouldn't normally speak out. But once you hear them as a guest on a show, you're like, man, this guy seems really cool. And that's how I find a lot of them. I'll reach out to them after a podcast, like, yo, that was a great podcast. I'd love to connect. And it just snowballs. So yeah, let me wrap this up because it's getting kind of long. I wanted to keep this episode a little short. I didn't want this to go too long. But I just wanted to emphasize the importance I have the importance of developing friendships within the industry, because it really did push me to where I am today. And it pushed me to do uncomfortable things, because the agents that I was friends with were going, hey, you got to have this conversation. You got to say this. I've been in that scenario. You got to do this. And it really pushed me. And I don't think any other person in my circle of influence, whether it's friends, family, etc., whatever, would have ever said that to me. But they're seeing it from the outside, from a third party, with outside view, and saying, no, Taylor, you got to do this. And it really kind of motivated me to have those hard conversations and do the things that I've done and push me to be better. So yeah, that's it. That's it. I think whatever industry you're in, again, let me reiterate, maybe I'm a broken record here. Whatever industry you're in, find some peers in the industry and grow together as friends, right? Who knows? Maybe it becomes a partnership or something at some point, and I've seen that too. But go to those conferences, learn from others, learn from their successes, and try to maybe skip some of the mistakes that they've already made. Learn some of their mistakes and go, oh, good to know. I'm never going to do that. Avoid those mistakes. Now, you're never going to avoid all mistakes. Failing is a part of it, right? You're going to try things that's going to fail, and you learn from it. You're not failing, you're just learning, but you're going to have things that don't work right. Or maybe you try to implement something, or you try to change something and your whole team hates it and it blows up in your face, right? That's okay. That's going to happen. But if you can maybe skip over some of them and kind of streamline things and go, hey, Kate, I'm not going to try this program because every agent that's tried it hasn't worked out. Or I'm not going to try this because they said majority of people that I've talked to said if they did this, it ended up negatively, right? Or whatever it is. So I can kind of avoid certain things because I have friends in the industry that have tried it already. So I think that's why it's really important. And that's why I'm always coming up with fresh ideas and new ideas, not because I'm just this super creative mastermind of insurance and I have all these great ideas. It's because I'm learning them from other successful, smarter agency owners than me. And so when I come here to my agency and I talk to my in-laws, or I come up with this crazy idea, they're like, where the hell did you come up with this? Oh, I talked to an agency owner who has 30 million in revenue, and he does this, and he has branches, and he has multiple offices, and he has hiring a crazy team, or whatever it is, and I'm taking little nuggets of that and trying to put some of that into our agency, because I think it really resonated with me, and I really valued that, and I would have never really thought about it otherwise. And so I think that's why it's really important to surround yourself with peers in your industry. And so, yeah, that's it today. Being around other insurance agents for me has really changed who I am in my career and in my professional life, because like I said, some of the things I would have never done if I didn't have these friendships. I would have probably been in a situation that isn't as good as it is now, and I probably would be maybe even not in the industry anymore, because my peers that I had, that I would go to these conferences and see, it motivated me to keep going because I was friends with them, and I was like, man, I want to see what the next conference. Oh my gosh, let's keep in contact. And we just kept going. Otherwise, if I didn't have those, I think personally, I don't know, maybe I would have gotten out of insurance because I would have been burnt out or something. Who knows? But I know that the friendships I developed in the insurance industry is really, really cool. And everyone in the independent insurance world is just so cool, so kind, so willing to help. So thank you all. If you're listening to this and you have a podcast, an insurance podcast, you guys know who you are. Thank you, because it's really helped me and pushed me along. And whoever throws these conferences, you're a godsend, because I know throwing a conference can't be easy and it costs a fortune and some people don't show up and it could get crazy. But thank you, because that's where I've learned a lot and that's where I've developed a lot of these friendships. So again, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to have some guests on, and I'm going to do a little more short form, little more consistent, not consistent, maybe a little more frequent videos talking about little, maybe smaller subjects, not this whole podcast, like a 20, 30 minute podcast, maybe a 10 or 15 minute thing about certain topics, certain struggles that I'm going with, but that I don't have a full episode to talk about. Like this one, it could have been narrowed down, but I just wanted to share that today because that was really important for me, and that's really important in my career. And I want to document this to share that, without some of the friends that I have in the industry, I wouldn't be where I am today. And you know who you are, because I've had some deep conversations with them late at night, whatever it was. So thank you. But yeah, so I'm going to be posting more, probably twice a week now on YouTube. Some of them are going to be podcast worthy. Some of them are going to be just little tidbits of information, sharing certain things. But yeah, again, thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave me a review on Talk with Taylor's Apple podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this, because I'm going to keep going with this. But again, this is more for me than for anyone else. I'm just sharing my journey in the insurance industry and where I'm going in my professional life. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode.